Hello and hello. Okay, so this lecture is going to go over two things that I touched on in a previous lecture that didn't work out, and now I figured out how to do them, so I will share it with you. All right, so you may recognize this as the lovely planet you've been living on. So this is going to be, now we're moving outside of California's data and we're looking at worldwide data, because today we're going to be looking at the count feature. Okay, so what I have here, I can go ahead and turn off some of these superfluous ones. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on the brown color is going to be just the outlines of countries. And then these pink areas are going to be populated places. So again, let's go ahead and open it up and look at our attribute table. And looks like we have 7,343 different populated places in this attribute table. Okay, that's way more than we want to have to count by hand. Okay, yeah, you can go scroll through here. There's a lot of them, and then we'll have things like their scale and rank, their feature class. Is it an administration region? Is it a capital? Their name, so on and so forth. And if you scroll to the side, it'll have things like their country, and then I think they have population stuff. So lots of information here. But also that's a lot of records, okay? We have over 7,000 records. And if you're doing just a project on, let's say, Australia, you don't necessarily want all of this data. Or maybe you need this data, but in kind of a more digestible format. So here's how count's going to help, okay? So we're going to go ahead and go to our vector, geoprocessing tools, and I think actually it's analysis. Yes, analysis is going to be count points in Polygon. So what this is going to do, it's going to add an additional attribute into your attribute table. Again, like as we saw in our join tool, sometimes you kind of want all your data together. It makes life easier, right? Okay, so the polygon we're going to do is going to be our countries, okay? So that's going to be the polygon, and then our points are going to be populated places. So what I'm asking the computer to do, I want it to count how many populated places are in each country, okay? So it's looking at those points and looking at those polygons, and it will break it up based on that, okay? We've got polygons, points. I'm not going to worry about anything else. We're going to remember it. It's called number points. You can name it something else later if you'd like. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. Why not? Why not? We'll call it city count. Now, this is where the important part is. You want to save it by pressing this little button here. You have to save to file or save to GeoPackage, okay? We're going to go ahead and save it to a file, and we're going to make sure we go into, I've called Geography 300, the place where I put all of my QGIS data. And again, this goes back to the importance of having a set location to put all your data, because you don't want files all over the place. Okay, so we're going to put it here. I'm going to call it city county, and I'm going to save it as a GeoPackage, and I'm going to run it. And don't worry about the spatial index thing for now. We'll do that later. Okay, it's going to take a while because there's a lot of countries and there's a lot of populated places. I got a SodaStream for my birthday, and it's my favorite toy, so I'm very excited by my new toy. I should have a Jeopardy song playing. You can see how much longer this takes in comparison to the other ones we've done in other videos because of the sheer amount of data. Okay, cool. That's done. Oh, we have a new lovely shapefile here. We have a shapefile. Okay, so remember we told it to name it as city county. So this time we gave it a name. So in previous tools, no, we don't want wedding photography. Thanks, Pinterest. So in previous times we've done the tools, we just gave it the temporary name. We went ahead and pre-named it, and you'll notice something different about what's happened over here. So it's got the new name, city, county. It doesn't have that symbol that means that it's a temporary scratch layer, okay? That means that this layer is saved permanently in my computer. It is saved in that file. So if my power goes out right now, this new shapefile that I just created that has all of those cities mixed together, my shapefile, has been saved as permanent. And this is different than the temporary scratch layer that we have had previously. Okay, so kind of show you how this looks, we're going to go ahead and do our little right click and look at our lovely attribute table. Open attribute table. Da, 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 da. So now you'll notice it has features, total 255. Whoa, wait a minute, what happened to all of our cities? Aha, we've now counted how many of these populated places we had per polygon. So if we go back to our original admin countries, our original, the beige file, let me turn all these other ones off. Boop, boop, okay. Well, we want the boundaries. Okay, the original beige file and open it. There you go, 255. Now, if you look at our original file of our countries, scroll to the right. The very last column I have is the name. It looks like they tried to translate it and it just didn't cooperate. So we have the names in different languages that they don't have the characters for some of them. Okay, so that's the last attribute within this attribute table. Now let's look at our new one that we just made called city country. We're going to right click. Still at that 255, so we haven't changed the number of polygons. We didn't erase or add countries. We have that same number of polygons. What we did, I'm now going to scroll to the right, and I have a new attribute here. And that's now called number points. And what this is telling me is telling me within those polygons, each individual polygon, so the polygon for Germany and the polygon for Uganda and the polygon for Chile, it's now telling me how many of those populated places points from my other layer exist in that. So for example, if I want to go ahead and let's see here, whoops. Sorry, I hope you're not getting nauseous from all this scrolling of attribute tables. Okay, so let's go ahead. If I go to my sovereignty here, and I'm going to go do Australia, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different ones here under sovereignty. So let's go ahead and go to, I wanted to do my country one. Here we go. See, that's why there's 255, which is way more than the number of countries in the world, because it's looking at territories and colonies as well. Okay, so we've got our Australia. Our sovereignty is Australia, and it's a country and administered by Australia. Okay, so we've got the country of Australia. Let's go ahead and see how many of those populated places existed in that polygon. We'll scroll over. There were 224 of those dots within that polygon. Okay, so again, if I scroll over here, it's already highlighted for me. That's the great thing about attribute tables, is whichever record you highlight, it will highlight it on your map, which is a fabulous feature. Okay, we'll go ahead and zoom in here. Let's turn those dots back on. Turn this off. Yeah, do you really want to count all 244 of those dots? No. That's why the count tool will go ahead and do that for you. Okay, now I want to go ahead and just talk about what happens if I zoom back out. We'll go ahead and turn that off. We don't need that anymore. Oh, it's going to take forever to draw now. That is the downside of, whoops, come on, there we go. Okay, so I talked earlier about that temporary files. Let's see how we can fix that if we've already run the tool without designating a spot, because that's what we've been doing for the majority of the class so far. So now here's how you go back and fix that. Okay, so we go ahead and go back to my research tool, or no, analysis, which is count points and polygon. We're going to go ahead and do our, we'll do our cities again, or let's do something different. What do I want to do? Actually, no, Let's keep it easy. Let's keep it simple for now. Okay, we'll do our admin countries. We'll do our populated places. Okay, I'm going to keep it as this numbered points. I'm not going to change, I'm not going to change the name of it, okay? So the country counted field name is number points. If you want to change it, you could name it just cities. And what this is doing is in that attribute table, it's telling you what you want that record to be called. Okay, so I just call it cities because that sounds prettier than numbered points. But I'm not going to change this one here. I'm going to keep it as a temporary layer. Okay, we'll go ahead and run it. Remember, it's going to take a while. So go get some coffee. Go make some more SodaStream. Yay. Okay. Yeah, play some video games, you know. And once you're in the professional setting or even in a lab setting in a four-year college, you'll often see a computer with a sign saying running analysis, do not restart, do not touch. And that's if we had like an even more monstrous data set than this. It can take, you know, hours to run. That's not unusual to see a computer with a sign saying analysis and process do not touch. So now you know why. Okay. So we went ahead and did this. There's our new file. It's called account. We let it call it that. See this weird little symbol here. Temporary scratch layer only. And that was before. If I were to go ahead and let's do this, I'm going to do something you shouldn't do. I'm not saving. Don't do this at home, kids. I'm not saving. I'm pressing the new button. Ah! And I get this alert. It says, this project includes one or more temporary scratch layers, okay? That's this little symbol here. It looks like a little computer chip or an amoeba or a little caterpillar. I don't know, whatever you'd like. If you get this message and you have any of these little symbols here, the little amoeba computer chip symbol, those will go away. They're not saved. They're not permanent. They're temporary. So we don't want to do that. But let's go ahead and let's save it, right? Let's keep it. So let's go ahead and do a little right click here and let me save it. Oh, I just figured out how to do it. Now I can't find it. Oh, you have to click the actual amoeba symbol. Okay, so click the amoeba symbol and it's going to open up this new window. It says save scratch layer. Okay, so I would say go ahead and save it as a geo package. It's just easier. Okay, so you could do an Esri shape file if you wanted to because we're working in shape files, but we're not working in Esri, so let's just keep it GeoPackage. Now, file name. Remember before where I got that warning symbol? You need to pick your ellipses because you have to tell your computer where to save it, okay? So here we are in our lovely, this is my file. My Geography 300 is my file that I've made for this. And I'm going to call it New Cities, okay? You have to tell it where you want to save it or else the computer freaks out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save it here and see how it makes my full file name. You want to go ahead and check and make sure your full file name is all complete. Okay, that could be longer if you have multiple subfolders or whatnot, but keeping track of your folders and keeping track of your files and databases is one of the most unpleasant but also heartbreaking parts, I think, of GIS, especially once you get more and more and more and more. And if you're working on more than one computer, so for example, if this were an in-person class, we'd be in a computer lab and all this would be on a flash drive, or I suppose you could do it on Google, but I think you have to do a flash drive for saving. I don't think you can save this in Google Drive. And if you're in a different computer the next week, you can't just, you know, open up your C drive and there it is, right? So maybe it's good that this is online because you all have your own computers at home. Okay, so I'm not gonna worry about the rest of this. If you want to describe it, I will call this an example of the count tool for country data. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about the rest of it. This one has been spatial indexed. I think technically it's not. We're not going to mess with it. All right, go ahead and hit OK. And now it's been saved. See, there you go. This layer has successfully been saved. So now when I go and do this, I don't get that message because that layer has been saved permanently. Phew, so now the power out can go out, the aliens can come blow up my laptop, but the file has been saved. Okay, so those are some nice things for you to use if you either don't want to count tiny, tiny dots, which is nice as you do more analysis, and also for saving your files as well. Thank you so much. Take care.